Hi, Sammy. How are you?
Hi, Tanya. I'm good, and you?
Good, thanks. Thank you so much for meeting with me all the way from Portugal,
Thank you.
Lisbon to Cape Town.
Yeah, Lisbon to Cape
Oh,
Town. Love
I
it.
love it. When was the last time you've been to Cape Town, actually?
In November, it will be 2 years, but I'm going back down in December for a month, so very excited.
Oh,
Very excited.
amazing. Ah,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, do you maybe we just want to introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about, well, first of all, who you are and what you do.
Sure. So I'm Sammy Guinness. As you said, I'm from
Love
Cape
that
Town, South
surname.
Africa. Yes, like the beer. I'm from Cape Town. I moved to Lisbon, Portugal 2 years ago to go and I got married recently to my Portuguese husband, hence why I'm here.
Oh, okay, I was going to ask.
Yeah, so that's the reason. And I am a stress management and anxiety coach. I help women mostly in the corporate field, so entrepreneurs or women, who climbing the corporate ladder, want a successful career, but are just really finding that stress, anxiety, burnout is holding them back.
Mm.
So I work with women to help them find ways that they can balance a successful career or successfully starting up a business, but without and healthy ways
Yeah.
to have that work-life balance, so that they're not working 14 hours a day, but they're still doing a really good job, but also able to take care of themselves as well.
I love that. So is it only women? Or is that just
Um,
kind of what you've started with?
that's kind of what I started with. At the
Mm.
moment, my clients have been women, but I'm happy to work with men as well. I think men struggle with anxiety just as much as women do, and maybe don't talk about it as as much.
Yes, I was going to ask you, is it why only women? But I think it's women, we tend to talk more in general. So it's easier for us to be open about it. But I do hope that, men will become a little bit more transparent about their feelings and just also
Yeah,
setting healthier boundaries because I think they also have, a lot of kind of expectations on their shoulders. But that's
yeah.
very interesting. I mean, this is a topic I see you on LinkedIn all the time. Obviously, I've met you before, but well, virtually, never in person.
Yeah.
And I always see your LinkedIn posts, and it's very fascinating to me how you have such a specific niche because I've always been interested in coaching in general. But now, I mean, can you tell us a little bit about first of all, how did you get into coaching? Because I know that's not something you did before when I met you. You also worked in quite a fast-paced kind of marketing industry. And so how did you get into coaching? That's number one. And then also why that specific niche? How did you get to that kind of job?
Yeah, so it's good question. It's been definitely a very long journey to get me here. So I studied public relations management actually, and I worked in PR, and then I changed industries to media, and then I worked in advertising in 15 years,
Okay.
and over my career and mostly within my 20s. I'm 35 now, so I feel like I've got some experience and under the belt. But mostly my 20s, I struggled a lot with my anxiety. I used to get really bad panic attacks. And anxiety would hold me back. I'd be really stressed, but no one would know. I was always very, very good at, putting on a good
Hiding
front
it or
and hiding it. Like everyone thought at work I was the calm person, the one who was, like in a stressful situation, a crisis, go to Sammy. She always has a solution. Because and I am really great in those situations. But then when I got home, then all the anxiety would start to come out. The and for me it was a lot through panic attacks or that constant overthinking mind or negative self-talk, and what was really driving it was my people pleaser. Always people pleasing at work, not setting boundaries, always saying yes to everything, not learning how to say no. And so, and what I did when I was 30, I actually took a break from my career and I traveled to Southeast Asia, to Vietnam. And
love Vietnam. That was where we went to for a honeymoon. Love that. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And through my travels there, I just really took stock of my life and really looked at, I don't want to go back to Cape Town and go back into this career and be that person again where stress and anxiety is holding me back. And so I really did a lot of soul searching, a lot of self-healing, a lot of questioning. And then when I got back to Cape Town, it all hit me again, all the anxiety and everything. And then I discovered this method for my anxiety, which really helped me. And it was so good and so effective that I haven't had a panic attack in 4 years.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So,
how frequent were your panic attacks? I mean, do you think you had them like every month, every couple of months, or?
No, every couple of months. Yeah.
Okay.
And there were phases where it was quite bad, and maybe more frequent, but I'd say every couple of months. Yeah.
Okay.
And then with my I discovered this method, and then I just started, creating healthier habits for myself. I started setting boundaries within the workplace, within my relationships. I learned to take care of myself first in order to take care of others as well, because that's my personality type. I'm a type 2 Enneagram, the helper. But I that wasn't, that was in a healthy way for me. And through this journey of my own over the past couple of years, obviously I was talking to friends and family members, and a lot of people said to me that just by me speaking openly to them has helped them so much with their anxiety. And I even had a friend message me once and said, Sammy, just by our conversations, you've made me realize that I can have anxiety but still live a life. That an anxiety doesn't hold me back, because we all have anxiety, we all have stress. It's part of our nature, it's part of our bodies. You need levels of stress to function in a day, and anxiety gets you out of sticky situations. It's that gut feeling as well, but it's the understanding that it doesn't have to control you anymore.
I love that.
So when I got that, and when I got that message from my friend, I was like, oh, maybe this is something I can actually do. And
use that personality type,
yes,
as a helper to help people. Yeah, not make it, help it. Well, make it help you. Use your personality for good. Yeah,
exactly.
Not your downfall.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
Then and it took me a while to get to coaching, because at first I was thinking, should I study psychology, should I study counseling, or should I go into coaching? And at the time, a few years ago, coaching to me was this dirty word. I was like, oh no, coaches, they just there was this negative connotation around coaching at the time. And I looked at all the different options, and I was like, I can't go back and study for 7 years or five years to get a degree. And so I leaned more and more into coaching. And the more I found out about coaching, and the more I started speaking to other coaches, I realized actually what a great industry it actually is. And so I started to be more interested in it. And then in my previous role, the one where we met, I was very fortunate enough to be very integral in the people and culture team there. And naturally, I was able to help build. I managed teams, but I was also able to coach teams in a very informal way. And within that role, I got a lot of practice, helping people who are experiencing stress and anxiety and helping them within their role. And yeah, and then this year in end of June, I went full time with coaching.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sure. And yeah, it's always a big step. And I love hearing about people, women in general, well, all people, but especially women who just decide, no, I'm just gonna take the plunge, I'm gonna do it. I have a friend who also started her own thing, and I remember chatting to her and just the stress of finally trusting that, because we're so conditioned to believe that we have to follow this little, get a job in this kind of box and then follow that. So it's so amazing when people just decide, especially for you, how you've kind of created this industry. I know it exists, but
Mm.
it's so specialized and specific that I absolutely love it. And I think that's why it will really resonate with a lot of people. Um, yeah, so that's an amazing story. And I think the reason
Thank you.
why I keep reading all your stuff, especially, is because I would say the past 2 years, I've finally decided that I can kind of self-diagnose myself with anxiety, because I am an overthinker. I'm a people pleaser, middle child, always trying to keep the peace. And I think with COVID and everything, you start to go a little bit crazy. And I just realized that yes, I have anxiety and I need to do something about it. And I mean, there's still a long way. I could definitely do with some help from someone like you, but also just setting healthier kind of habits, boundaries, and also recognizing when you go kind of down a certain kind of thought pattern, or a negative spiral. Yeah, so I think, do you have any tips for someone? For example, I mean, obviously they should come to you and chat to you, but I think, any quick tips they can take note of.
Sure. I think first of all, having that awareness and being able to talk about it, you should be very proud of yourself. That is a very, very big step. So, so
Well, it is
well
also
done.
kind of a dirty word, eh? I mean, the word anxiety implies that you've got some kind of depression, or that you're a little bit unstable. And it was just, the more I started speaking about it, the more I could deal with it. So exactly, yeah.
Exactly. And it isn't a dirty word, like a lot of people, especially after the pandemic, a lot of people are suffering with high levels of stress, high anxiety and burnout. And that's like, and especially, I don't know if you've recently heard the trend of quiet quitting.
Oh, I
And I'm
have.
not going to go into the whole debate of it, but like a lot of people are just checking out of jobs because of the high pressure and expectations that are put on people. But then also, people are not developing healthy coping mechanisms to work with the stress. But anyway,
Yeah.
I digressed. To answer your question, so yeah, having that level of self-awareness and being able to take breaks within your day. So I would say always like
That's big
the
for
very
me.
first thing. Write it
I've been
down.
setting alarms every hour just so to force myself. So even if I'm heavy into a task and I'm focused, then as soon as that alarm goes off, I try to go outside and just, so that is, yeah,
Yes, great. That
something
is
to
that
work
is good.
towards.
Yeah. Yeah. So even if I mean, it doesn't have to be every hour. It can be whatever works for you. So for me, I know what works for me is I take like a 15 to 30-minute break in my morning, and I go, do something that's not in front of a screen. So go play with my dog or go do something downstairs. I work from home, obviously. And then a lunch break. So taking a proper, like, full hour lunch break away from your screen so you can really switch off and really just focus on like the food that you're nourishing your body with. And then the same in the afternoon, maybe take two smaller breaks or one longer break, and just really have that time. And then after work, set a time for yourself to end work and switch off. And I know,
Mm.
especially working from home, it's really hard because
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I can
Or
just
having
keep
your own
going.
business.
Yeah, or
Because I mean,
having
you're
your own.
working for clients and then you're doing your own stuff as well,
Yeah,
your own brand. Yeah, I like
so
that.
it's being able to switch
Another
off.
alarm.
Another alarm. And sometimes, I know you said at the moment your office is quite blended
Mm.
with your living space. So maybe it's, literally packing away your computer
Mm.
and putting it away. So out of sight, out of mind, so that you can actually allow yourself to switch off.
Yeah.
And then not going straight from working to, okay, I quickly got to make dinner, have some decompress time. So maybe like just go sit in your garden and have a cup of tea, or go for a walk, or do a workout, or anything that works for you that will then get you out of that zone. Because if you think about it,
Isn't that
before
was
when
a big problem? No,
yeah,
sorry, I was just going to say exactly when everyone had to stay at home, that became a big issue because you never got the chance to do that, to get out, to
for
just
sure.
clear your head. Yeah.
Exactly. Before if we were working in an office, we would drive home or catch public transport to go home. And that was that space where we could decompress and go out of work mode into home mode. So it's being very strict with yourself. I'd say that as a start. And then, I mean, there are so many tools out there. And what I work with my clients is to find out what works for them. Because what works for me, which I know if I'm feeling really overwhelmed, or there's like too many mental tabs open in my mind and I just need to like get back to the present, I'll do a quick mindfulness exercise that really works for me, which is you close your eyes, you focus on 3 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel, and then open your eyes, 3 things you can see. And it can take as long or as short as you want, a minute, 5 minutes, whatever works for you. And that just gets me back into the present. But I have a client who doesn't work for her, so she just wants to do 20 jumping jacks on the spot because just
maybe it makes her feel something, and yeah,
it gets her energy up. She's like, okay, and then she's like, okay, have some water, and now she's back. She's back in the zone. So it's really about figuring out what.
Personalize it.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
I think because there's so many wellness gurus out there who say you must meditate an hour every day, do yoga, exercise. I know you also like to follow the 5 a.m. Club.
Well, try.
But that doesn't work for everyone, Some people,
well, it's not realistic for everyone. If you've got a family, maybe you need to find clever ways because you don't have the space. Whereas I don't have children, I can just go and sit and meditate for 10 minutes uninterrupted. But you probably don't have that luxury. If you have kids going, Mommy, why are you sitting there with your eyes closed?
Exactly. Imagine, yeah. And also, it's also understanding where your energy peaks are during the day. So some people are just not morning people. So for them, like focused work in the afternoon would work really well for them. Versus, some people are morning people, and getting up at 5 a.m. they thrive, and that's when they can, do all the things that they need to do for them, and then work.
Okay. So do you kind of delve into their lifestyle first? So kind of maybe tell me about the process, when you meet up with a client, I'm assuming you do this more virtually now, and so that you can chat to anyone anywhere in the world. And then you just ask them specific lifestyle questions and try to gauge where the issues are, or how does it work?
So before I work with any client, I always have a discovery call with them, and that's a complimentary call, 30 to 60 minutes. And that's really where we discuss with the person what they're going through. So what are they currently experiencing? Where do they want to be? And then I can discuss how I can help them. And the reason why I have this call is because I need to know that I can help this person. Because if I can't help this person, then it's not fair on either of us to work together. But if I can help this person, then that's great. And also, and for the client as well, maybe I'm not a good fit for them. The work that we do, it's not therapy or counseling. So we don't go into your past, but it is looking at your life. So it can be very personal. So we need to make sure that we're the right fit for each other. And then, within that call, I discuss with the clients, what's currently happening, what are they feeling, how is stress and anxiety holding them back, what is their current day-to-day look like, their lifestyle, and, where do they want to be, what is their goal, what do they envision as their perfect day or week or month. And so that's
Sorry, no, continue.
No, I was gonna, and then basically the coaching process is, so I work with a minimum of 6 sessions with my clients, and then after 6 sessions we can add on to that, and that can be over 6 weeks or 12 weeks. And first we start with self-awareness. So I like to look at my clients' core values and then do the Enneagram test, which I'm not sure if you've heard of. Really cool personality. It's very in depth. Then I look at tackling what's holding you back. So we look at, what is the root cause behind what's causing the stress, what's causing anxiety. Maybe it's your people pleasing, that imposter syndrome, or
yes.
constant overthinking mind. And we really look at that, and we do quite a few sessions around that. And then once we've got that in a much happier space, then I look at lifestyle and habits. And we build.
It's so practical, and it just, I think a lot of people, first of all, not everyone's very self-aware, and it's a very difficult thing to be self-aware. So to chat to someone, someone who doesn't know you even, about these things will open up your mind, and you won't feel judged necessarily. Whereas if you go to a friend, you might feel silly, admitting to certain things. So I really think there's a market for what you do, and it's fascinating.
Thank
And
you.
giving practical things, like a lot of the stuff that you've said, I'm already like, yes, and I can do that. I can do this better. I think everyone can learn. And I think it's an evolving thing as well, probably. You don't just wake up one day with no anxiety. It's you recognize you've got it, and then check in with yourself every day, maybe.
Exactly. So it's the understanding that your anxiety is always going to be with you. It's never going to leave you, but it's knowing and it's embracing it and accepting that knowledge, and then learning how to live with it where it doesn't control you, you control it. So taking back the power, essentially.
And have you seen do you have any quick success stories? I think I saw one this morning that you posted, and everyone should go follow you on LinkedIn. I just love your posts.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I can give you some examples of recent work I've done with some clients. So I worked with, I won't give any names or details,
No.
but everything's very confidential. But I worked with someone, a woman who was managing quite a large team in a creative company. And not only was she burnt out, but so were her team members. And because she wasn't able to be an effective leader to her team. So what we did working with her was we tackled what was holding her back, that anxiety, the people pleaser, and we got her into a good space first. And then we looked at leadership tools that she could use to get her team into a good space as well. So it's almost like she became a coach for her team as well, because managers, leaders, entrepreneurs, we're coaches, we're natural coaches when we lead people. And
when you think about families, sorry for interrupting, but families, even if your parents and you have children, you're also managing them, and how if you're feeling burnt out and stressed out, it will affect them as well. So I think it's a gift that you give to everyone, not just yourself.
Exactly. And so what happened was that she did such a great job in leading her team into a better space that her boss was so inspired by this that they actually implemented a company-wide wellness day
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that was a really, really big win. Other clients I'm working with, some examples are a client of mine is leaving a job because of burnout, and she's starting a new job and wants to set healthier boundaries
from the get-go.
And healthier habits from the get-go, so that she can, because she wants to do really well in this new job, but she doesn't want that burnout and stress and anxiety to hold her back. So it's like getting her into a space that she's ready to be successful, both in her personal and her work life. And I've also worked with a mom before, and And yeah, and as you said, you know, for example, you know, if you've got kids and you can't do the 5 a.m. wake up or the 6 a.m. wake up and have all this time for yourself in the morning. So our goal was to find 10 minutes for her in the day
Wow.
that she have to herself and to do things that was good for her. And when she started creating that time for herself and prioritizing those 10 minutes for herself a day, then those 10 minutes increased to 15 to 20. And then eventually she was in a healthier space. So her kids were in a healthier space as well.
That's amazing. It must be so rewarding to see that. And I mean, it must make you also kind of keep you on track as well with your own anxiety to know, like, you know, when you keep talking to other people and to just, you also coaching yourself, hopefully, in some ways.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of the things I do, it's a great reminder to myself, especially if I'm maybe slacking on something. And I'm like, oh, that is a reminder. I need to get myself back into that space. Yeah.
It's so funny how, you know, when we slack, sometimes, I mean, I have very specific habits that I do every day. And then if I slack some of them, I think it's fine. But then a couple of days later, I can feel it. And I feel a little bit, I feel, yeah, exactly like you mentioned earlier, you've got so many mental tabs open. That's how I feel most of the time. So when you have these little things to just keep you in check, it really helps. Yeah, and now people have access to this stuff, you know, maybe before they didn't know this, that you could deal with it this way. You don't always have to jump to medication, or if, I mean, obviously some people do, but there are some ways that you can just kind of manage it. So I love that. And yeah, I think, what was the other thing I wanted to ask you? You obviously have your own business now, which is something that's always of interest to me because I started my business kind of out of necessity, but you decided to just go for it. So what do you feel? What are some lessons that you've learned from going onto this entrepreneurial journey, or some struggles or wins or anything you want to share?
Sure. So I would say if I had to go back and tell myself, I'd say start sooner. It took me a long time to actually just start. And yeah, I would say start sooner. And then
Why?
also
Because you
don't
love it, or?
just because, yeah, exactly. I mean, I could have been doing this a year ago when I, you know, really wanted to. And yeah, exactly. It's such a passion of mine. And don't be afraid to ask for help. You know, as an entrepreneur, as a solopreneur, you know, it can be quite lonely, especially if
Yeah.
you're going from working with a team of people to now just yourself. So I have a business coach that helps me and guides me, and you know, I'm always networking, chatting with people, you know, asking questions, looking for help out there, because it's important. It's important to build that support network around you.
I'm also learning that more and more. I think the networking thing, it's so easy to just say, no, you know, you don't have time for it or something, but it's so valuable and just doesn't make you feel so alone. It's very true what you say. And then when you chat to someone else, especially if you don't have friends running their own businesses, they don't necessarily understand. I mean, they empathize, but they don't understand that, you know, you can't, yeah, they think you have all this freedom and you can just do whatever, but they don't understand the pressure of having to, yeah, to do a lot of things. Um, okay, cool. So I think, first of all, one last question, and then we're going to do a quick this or that. I can't believe the time's almost over already. I could listen to you for hours. Um, but yeah, so just any advice for someone who wants to start coaching or just starting their own business, but maybe coaching specifically?
Sure. So I think people are afraid that coaching, you have to have the big accreditation. Um, Try take that away from it and just think, you know, what can I do that can help other people? There are people out there that need your help. Excuse me. And my business coach Hannah was saying this to me the other day. You know, you're almost doing a disservice to other people, not going out there and trying to help them. And so I would definitely say, if you want to go into coaching, find your niche as well, because there are a lot of coaches out there. But if you have a niche that you're passionate about and you know so well, then go for it. There's literally nothing stopping you.
I like that you have a very specific niche. I think I also, I said copywriting for entrepreneurs because I feel so passionate about helping people start their businesses and communicating that. Whereas, it kind of gets lost in big corporations and things like that. But yeah, so I like how you specifically stress and anxiety. I was like, yes, that's me. And I think a lot of people do. Okay, so let's do a quick this or that. Just which one's more you, okay? So I actually don't think I know all of these about you. So coffee or tea?
Tea.
Tea, okay. Sleep in or rise early?
Sleep in.
I must say, you say I'm 5 a.m. club, but I mean, I love sleeping in. Weekends, I love it. I can sleep forever, even as a child. Love sleeping. Okay, series or books?
Ooh, at the moment series, but when I get into a good book, then it's books.
So both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both, yeah.
Camping or 5-star luxury?
5-star luxury, please.
I think even campers like myself enjoy 5-star luxury. Sweet or savory?
Sweet.
Oh, okay. Summer or winter?
Spring.
Huh? Okay, in between. I'm so jealous. It looks so warm there, and I'm like sitting here in my
Yeah,
jersey.
I'm so hot today. Like the fans on and everything.
Ah, can't wait. Almost there, and it's spring here, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one, install updates or later, now or later. You know, when you get that pop-up, ready to install
Oh,
updates.
later. Later.
Yeah, me too.
Always.
Uh, but like I say, later never comes. You just go later, later, later. Can't disrupt me now. Okay, snooze or one alarm only?
One alarm only. When I'm up, I'm up.
I'm so jealous. I thought like people like you don't exist because I have at least 5 alarms, snooze. Sometimes it drives my husband crazy, 5 minutes apart just so that I can wake up and go back to sleep. Okay, so you guys exist.
Yeah, we exist. We exist.
Oh, amazing. Well, Sammy, thank you so much for your time. And yeah, I think you're doing such a great job and I'd love to learn more about this. I will drop your links in the description and so people can go check out what you're doing and they can reach out because I think so many people can really do with your help. So yeah, thank you for what you're doing and helping women and yeah, everyone suffering. And I hope people
Yeah,
will reach out if they need help.
thanks. Yes, let's tackle burnout culture.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Sammy.
Thanks so
Have a good
much.
day. Appreciate your
You
time.
too. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.